Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Folks, we definitely have some questions that we want to get to here today, but there's also a lot of really exciting things going on over at Rosen's Online. So, buckle up everybody, let's jump right in. The first question is from Matt. Hey Tim, the last few years in the spring, about 5 to 10% of the leaves on my holly trees are turning yellow. This only seems to happen in the spring. The trees seem to be healthy the rest of the year. I've also noticed that they have not been producing many red berries. So although a holly tree is actually considered an evergreen, it will naturally drop some of its leaves throughout the year. Now the fact that you're saying it's pretty consistently dropping 5 to 10% in the spring and then it looks healthy through the rest of the year tells me that that's just part of the natural process of the tree. Now, if it were something worse than that, I believe you'd be seeing a much higher percentage in terms of the leaves turning brown and dropping off. And usually with hollies, it's three things, right? It's either going to be stress, it's going to be some type of a disease, or some type of damage. Now, based on the picture you sent in, I don't think it's disease, and I don't think that there's any damage that's been made to the tree. It hasn't incurred any severe storm damage, it hasn't lost a limb, anything like that. So my guess is that if it's anything, it could simply be a little bit of stress that the tree is under. So it's not uncommon for plants to go through a little bit of stress, especially during seasonal transitions, right? So you go from winter to spring, spring to summer, summer to fall, and sometimes there can be a pretty broad range of temperatures that tree might be experiencing in terms of the soil, air temperature, things like that. Typically with holly though, what you really just want to make sure is that it's getting enough water and that it's being fed properly. So what we would really recommend is using Garden Trust and Kickstart. Now, some of you may be saying, well, why Garden Trust and not Plant Trust? You can certainly use Plant Trust, but Garden Trust, I believe, is a better choice because holly trees produce berries. At least they're supposed to. And Matt, according to your email, that's been a little bit of a struggle the last year or so. So I would actually go ahead and put down Garden Trust now to try and keep that holly properly fed, which also may help produce more of those berries that you're kind of accustomed to seeing. But the Kickstart is also really vital to all of your plants because of the way it strengthens the roots. So pick up some Garden Trust, pick up some Kickstart, get those down as soon as you can. Again, I really believe this is probably just a natural process in terms of what you're seeing from the holly tree. 5 to 10% of the leaves isn't too bad, but if it gets any higher than that, then I would definitely look at a possibility of disease or some type of damage, possibly root damage that could have occurred. But for right now, let's focus on making sure that it's properly fed, that it's getting watered, and I think you're going to see that tree turn around here really, really quickly. Question number 2 is from James. Hey Tim, 2 years ago a new gas line was installed in my yard. A large section was dug up to install the line. The grass that was laid looks like the attached pictures. I fertilized several times with turf truss and it still looks terrible. The green grass is adjacent to what the utility company laid. What do you recommend I do to restore my lawn? So I've been seeing this question more and more in recent weeks from customers. And I'll be honest with you, it's a very common problem. A utility company comes in, digs up part of the lawn to put in a new line, a new pipe, something, and they fill it back in, they plant some grass, and they leave. Well, unfortunately, you've got a couple of issues there. First of all, I guarantee you they're not putting down real quality seed. So whatever is most cost effective for them to buy, that's what they're putting down. Secondly, anytime you have something running underneath the grass, you are running the risk of whatever that is. In this case, it's some type of a pipe or drain. They're running lines underneath it. It has the potential to impact the root structure of that new grass. So what happens? Either it's too close to the surface and the roots just find itself not being able to pull in as much nutrition as they normally would. In some cases, it's so close to the surface that it's actually killing the grass because the roots simply can't get down deep enough. They can't spread properly. So again, this is a real common problem. So here's actually what I would do. For right now, I would actually make sure that you keep hitting that area once a week with Kickstart. Kickstart is going to help it green up a little bit, because right now it looks kind of like that very light colored green, a little bit of yellow in it. Just doesn't look healthy compared to the rest of your lawn. And by the way, the rest of your lawn looks great. So put down Kickstart in that area, and obviously we talk about Kickstart a lot. You can put it all over the rest of your lawn if you'd like, but let's really focus on this one problematic area. That should help it green up a little bit. It'll also help strengthen the root system of that new grass. Then what I would truly consider is overseeding in the fall with Turf Saver, or I would completely rip that area out and put new grass down. Again, that would be something in the fall. So if it were me, what I would do is, around Labor Day, I would actually put down some fresh topsoil. I would overseed with Barenbrook Turf Saver. Then I would put down Turf Trust Professional Starter Formula. I would cover it with Easy Straw, and I'd water the whole thing with Kickstart. And I would use Kickstart once a week for probably the first 4 or 5 weeks that new grass has been down. And again, make sure that I water it every day. So whatever grass they've got there, the Turf Saver will eventually start to push out. But again, now's not the time to do this. This is a fall project. So for right now, you've already put down Turf Trust. Make sure you hit it with Kickstart once a week, twice a month, something like that. Just make sure that it's getting Kickstart, because that will really help the roots. It will help keep it green so that you can decide what you want to do once fall arrives. The third question is from Lynn. Hi, Tim. I am in New York. I would like to feed my roses and hydrangeas. Do I use Garden Trust for both? So Garden Trust is perfect for both your roses and for your hydrangeas. So I would absolutely recommend you picking up a bag and putting that down. In addition though, again, and I talk so much about this product, guys, but just because I love it so much, put down Kickstart. Kickstart can be used on your lawns, it can be used on your veggie gardens, it can be used on your trees, your shrubs, and absolutely any type of ornamental plants that you have. Again, it's designed to strengthen the root structure. So when you put down Garden Trust, which has a very balanced NPK profile that hydrangeas, that azaleas, that roses, all those flowering bushes, flowering trees absolutely love, what Kickstart's going to do is allow all that nutrition that's getting put into the soil to be utilized better by the plants, because it strengthens the roots. Stronger roots means that you can take in more nutrition, and that's exactly what Kickstart does. It's such a great product that complements all of ProTrust fertilizers incredibly well. So absolutely, pick up your Garden Trust, get it down as soon as you can to really feed those plants you mentioned. It's absolutely going to help with all of the blooms. You're going to be really impressed with it. And then make sure that you put down Kickstart. Again, Kickstart is just going to help the overall long-term health of the plant, while also allowing it to take in that nutrition that it needs from Garden Trust. The final question for today is from Jesse. Hi, Tim. I have a question about my yellow squash. I'm unsure if this is a disease or mosaic or a deficiency. I use cow manure and a garden soil mix when planted, as well as fed with Liquid Miracle-Gro 2 weeks ago. There's also a tomato plant nearby that looks sick as well. So I think you may actually have two issues going on here. The first is what I think is an iron deficiency, and the second might be a powdery mildew. So let's talk about the iron deficiency. Anytime that there's not a plant is not getting enough iron, the chlorophyll production slows down. As most of you know, the chlorophyll is what keeps a plant green, and so when there's not enough chlorophyll being produced, the opposite happens, and that plant will start to turn yellow, may even start to turn a little bit of a white hue, and that's kind of what we're seeing in the pictures that were sent in. So I would want to address that, and one of the ways you can do that is by putting down Garden Trust and then making sure that you apply Kickstart regularly. Garden Trust will feed the plants, it will put iron back into the soil, and Kickstart is then going to help the root system of the plant take in that nutrition, take in all that phosphorus, that nitrogen, and the iron that Garden Trust is putting into the soil. So that's the first issue. In terms of the powdery mildew, it doesn't appear like you have a real bad outbreak yet, but we need to get this under control because it can spread throughout the plant very, very quickly. So on some of the leaves, you can start to see that that's kind of that cloudy, milky white. That's what I believe is the powdery mildew. And so what I would actually do is make sure you put some neem oil on the plants ASAP. And it's available over at Rosen's Online, as is Garden Trust, and as well as Kickstart. The neem oil should help if it's not too bad of an outbreak, but if it really, really spreads, then unfortunately your best option, frankly, is to either live with it or to just take the plant out completely. By taking the plant out completely, you're going to prevent the spread to other plants. But keep in mind that a powdery mildew can actually, those spores can actually live in the soil for, frankly, a couple of years. So that, again, is why crop rotation that we've talked about sometimes here on the program can be important. So iron deficiency, get down Kickstart, and as well as Garden Trust. For the powdery mildew, definitely try neem oil. Again, it doesn't appear to be too bad of an outbreak yet, so I think that will work. However, in the future, you want to make sure that you put down neem oil pretty early, because neem oil is actually even better at preventing diseases. It also helps repel insects. It's a really versatile product. But if you put it down early enough, you're actually going to be able to help fight that powdery mildew before it even starts to become a problem. All right, folks, just a couple final thoughts. Guys, it's almost time for your second feeding of Turf Trust. So with that in mind, we have actually kicked off the Turf Trust Summer Stock Up promotion over at rosensonline.com. Folks, we kicked this off for the first time last year around this time, and it was a huge success. So what this promotion is, it's 3 bags of either the Turf Trust Starter or the Turf Trust Maintenance, the 5M or the 10M. They're bundled together, shipped to you at a huge savings and free shipping. Folks, you are not going to find a lower price on Turf Trust Maintenance or Turf Trust Starter anywhere. So head over to rosensonline.com, go to the Lawn and Garden Fertilizer section, and take advantage of the Turf Trust Summer Stock Up. Guys, we have the second feeding that's due now or in a couple of weeks, depending on when you put down that first feeding. We have a feeding in the fall, and we have another one in very late fall or early winter, again, depending on where you are. So think of what you've got to do in June, think of what you need to do around Labor Day, and think about what you need to do around the end of October, early November, when you're thinking about how much to buy and how much to take advantage of this special promotion. We are also still running our spring garden special, again, over at rosensonline.com. This is a bag of Plant Trust, 3 bags of Garden Trust, and a bottle of Kickstart. Guys, there is everything that you need to keep your landscaping looking beautiful this spring, this summer, and into the fall is available in the spring garden package, okay? Whether it's for your vegetable garden, your flower garden, your trees, your shrubs, even your potted plants can take advantage of everything that we have to offer in that spring garden special. Now, it's also the time of year that we need to be thinking about grubs. I talked about this a little bit last week. So if you or your yard or the area that you live in has an issue with grubs, then you definitely want to make sure that you take advantage of Bio Advanced 24-Hour Grub Killer. It's available over at Rosen's Online. Get that down now and kill anything that might already be there. It's also going to provide some lasting protection as we head into summer. The fourth and final thing I want to talk about real quickly is just to start being cognizant of lawn disease. Folks, as the temperatures start to heat up, people are watering their lawn a lot more. The humidity can be high. It's a perfect combination for lawn disease. Now, we have a number of products that will help you fight lawn disease over at rosensonline.com. We have products by Bonide, products by Bio Advanced, but I'll be perfectly honest with you, although they are effective at fighting disease, they're even better at preventing it. So again, think of it as a preventative maintenance measure. And if your lawn traditionally struggles with lawn disease, then what you want to do is head over to Rosen's Online, pick out the product that you prefer, and get it down real soon, again, to help keep your lawn disease-free through the summer. Folks, I've thrown a lot at you today. I really hope you guys have a great week. Thank you so much for all the questions that you send in. Make sure you send any additional questions that you may have to tim@rosensonline.com. I'll do my best to get back to you within 48 hours, if not sooner. Have a fantastic rest of the week, everybody. God bless.